Speaking Myanmar, Lessons for English-Speaking Learners. Vowels. In this lesson, you'll learn how to pronounce all the vowel sounds used in the Myanmar language and their corresponding Romanized spelling for this course. You'll learn there are 3 different vowel types. The first is a simple vowel, and as the name implies, it'll be the easiest to learn. The next group of vowels I'll refer to as Final N vowels. So just how can a vowel end with an N sound? You'll find out in this section. Lastly, I'll consider the stop tone vowels. You'll learn how to pronounce them and how you may see them romanized using different methods. Now we're going to cover 23 different vowel sounds in this lesson. And you may be thinking, wow, wait a minute. There's only 5 or 6 vowels in the English language. A, E, I, O, U, sometimes Y. How could there be so many more? But wait. In the English language, vowels are often combined with other vowels to form new vowel sounds. Here are 15 of those combinations. But it can be even more complicated than that in English. Because in English, some vowel combinations can have different pronunciations. In other words, EA could be here or where. OU could be pronounced count or court. UE could be true or quest. The only reason English seems easier is because it's your first language, the language you grew up with. But it took you a good portion of your life to learn, probably with total immersion. So don't worry, you can learn the Myanmar language as well. You just need to take one step at a time. So let's start by looking at our first category of vowels. We'll call these our simple vowels. They all make sounds just like the vowel sounds we use in English. Now on the left of this list, this is how I'll use Roman letters to represent the sound. And on the right is an example of an English word that contains that vowel sound. So we're going to move through them pretty quickly. This first Romanized symbol is pronounced like the A in the word around. It has the sound. This next simple A is like the A in father, ah. The next vowel sound is pronounced like the E in the word wet, eh. The next vowel sound like the AY in the word say, a. The next vowel sound, the double E sound, like the double E in the word see, e. Next we come to the AW sound, which sounds like the AW in the word law, aw. The O sound is like the long O sound in the word go, o. And lastly, this U sound sounds like the U sound in the word flute, ooh. Those are pretty simple. Now that first Romanized symbol is used in some dictionaries. Others use the inverted E letter or just a single A. Some of the other symbols, Romanized forms that I use, may be a little bit different. Just remember, refer to the guide for Romanized spelling in whatever dictionary that you're going to use. Now let's move on to the next kind of vowel. The next vowel we're going to talk about I'll refer to as a final N vowel. A final N vowel is a vowel that ends with the sound of the letter N, but the sound is not resonated. In other words, the N sound is only started but not finished. Now these are going to sound a lot like the French language nasal vowels. When listening to the pronunciation, sometimes you may not even hear an N sound. So the best way to demonstrate that is just go down through this list and listen to the pronunciation of each. So the first is an AN sound. That's how it's going to be represented in this course, like the sound of the AN in the word pan. It'll sound like an. The next is IN, like the IN in 10. Eh. The ON sound sounds similar to the ON in the word phone. It's pronounced on. The UN sound is like the UN in the word tune. The AIN sound is like the AIN sound in the word wine. I. The EIN, like the EIN in the word rain. A. And lastly, the AUN sound sounds like the AUN sound in the word gown. Ow. Next, we'll talk about the third kind of vowel sound. Next, let's consider stop tone vowels. A stop tone vowel has a very abrupt ending. It's pronounced with one of the 4 Myanmar tones we're going to discuss in our lesson on tones. It makes a very short, clipped-off sound at the end. So let's look at some examples of that. And you'll notice that the way we're going to symbolize a stop tone is by placing an apostrophe after the sound of the vowel. So to give you an example of that, this first vowel is pronounced like the letter A in the word hat, but it ends very abruptly, so it sounds like at. The next sounds like the E in the word wet. Eh. The next like the I in sit. It. Our next one like the letter O in the word go. O. The next one's a little more tricky. Sometimes it sounds more like the U in the word flute. Other times it sounds more like the double O in the word look. So I'll pronounce it like this. Our next one is like the letters AI in the word tie. I. Next, like the EI sound in the word eight. Eight. And lastly, like the AU sound in the word out. Out. Now again, I want to refer you to the fact that the method I use here for romanizing the stop tone vowel is an apostrophe that follows the vowel sound. And the reason I mention that is there are other methods used in many textbooks and dictionaries. For instance, here are some other examples of romanization. And it seems to be helpful to some, but as I listen to new students, they often vocalize the ending too much so that I can hear consonant sounds that really aren't supposed to be there. So I personally favor this apostrophe method, which is employed in one of the main dictionaries. The only caution is that the apostrophe does not indicate emphasis as it does in English. It's just there to indicate that stopped tone vowel. Now let's review what we've discussed. In the way of review for this lesson, we discussed final N vowels. Vowels that end with an N sound that's not resonated or finished. Just remember, don't fully pronounce that final N sound. The other thing that we covered was stop tone vowels. Remember, a stop tone vowel is pronounced with a short, abrupt ending. And in this course, I'm going to use an apostrophe to indicate a stop tone. Remember, it's never used as an accent mark, just to indicate a stop tone. And that completes this lesson on vowels.